Pause! Welcome to the 12 Days of Sickness. My name is Chance with the Seer Club. I want to give you all a warning before you jump into this video. The 12 Days of Sickness is a seasonal thing. This channel has no intention of being an educational channel, and we are no professional. So enjoy, but be aware of that. If you like our vibes and our personality, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and let's get back into your video. Peace. Hello, and welcome to another Seer Club video. I wanted to start this video off by saying we are going to be touching on a very heavy topic, so if it's too heavy for you, I recommend that you might skip this video. I'm going to be talking about health issues, people not believing your health issues, physical disability, and just general bullying. And if that's too heavy for you, please skip this video, or take it at your own pace, whatever you feel comfortable with. I wanted to start with that warning. But this is a part 1 to my physical health history. I'm not telling this story to get sympathy or make you feel bad for me. I want to make that clear first off. I am making this video to tell my story for not only myself and the little me that felt like these stories would never ever get to reach the light of day, and that I would never actually be believed for these stories, but hopefully that I can encourage other young, ill people who went through similar things to tell their stories and be strong, and that things do get better, and that you do find genuine people and that they're out there. So I want to make those two things clear first. And what you're going to see in the background is videos of me redrawing art pieces from the ages of 10 to 13. This is part 1, and there will be a part 2, but I have a lot of history medically, so I want to make sure that the videos aren't too long. I don't have much art from when I was younger than 13, and that's mainly due to the fact that I wasn't much of an artist. So I just want to warn you there, most of my early medical history will be on one redraw. But then again, it took me a long time to make that one redraw, so it'll fill the time. All these art pieces will have the age I drew the original on it, and the age I am now left on the image somewhere on the screen, so that you can kind of see how much time and improvement I was able to get. And you'll be able to definitely tell how quick my improvement was comparatively, in my opinion. Okay, let's get into it, and we're gonna start out from when I was 3. When I was 3, I got chickenpox. And soon after that, I started having absentee seizures. If you aren't sure what absentee seizures are, they are a type of seizure where instead of seizing, you go blank behind the eyes like nobody's home, and you pass out. You mimic passing out. So the best way for me at the time was to avoid getting too hot or too cold. And basically my life was fine. It was a little difficult because as I turned 3 or 4, I moved to a desert. And that was a little hard on my health, but I was very healthy normally as a child. I didn't have too many absentee seizures, to be honest. They were rare. And I played the hell out of soccer. I was a high-performing athlete. And if you don't know what a high-performing athlete is, it means you work out 6 out of 7 days, if not 7 out of 7. I was playing soccer like a madman. I wanted to be an Olympic soccer player. It was my dream. And I was on the fast track to that. I was, not to brag, I was good. I wasn't physically stronger than any of the other girls, nor was I necessarily faster. I had the stamina and the brains for it. And that's what made me good. Soccer is chess on a field. So, I started really having health issues later, but this is to back some things up. When I was in elementary school, I had a spotless record. I was in school every day and I loved it. I love school even to this day. And I had only faked being sick once, and it wasn't during school. It was for an after-school club where a chess teacher was bullying me, okay? And he was, to put it lightly, he was an asshole with a power trip. And so we didn't really click much, to be honest. And I could go into more detail on that, but I think I might save that for another time. I have a lot of stories from that guy. Anyway, I pretended to be sick. I got in trouble. Never pretended to be sick again. Never would pretend to be sick again. I was caught immediately and was forced to lay on the couch. And I, being a little Energizer bunny that I am, was miserable. Do not ever stick me on a couch to do nothing. My life was awful. It was the worst 6 hours of my life. I move constantly, and so it was an issue. And so I never pretended again. When I got into 6th grade is when there was a real issue. My sister got bronchitis and mono from her current boyfriend at the time. And knowing that my sisters had faked getting sick, my sister had purposely gotten me sick. And before you speculate, when we got older, she admitted to purposely getting me sick because mom and dad never believed her. And so she purposely got me sick because she assumed they would believe me. I don't fake being sick. I love school. I'm not gonna fake getting out of it. And I also wouldn't get to play soccer, so why would I fake? And so she purposely got me sick. And it was not believed because I had hit the age of 11. I was going from my summer from 5th grade to 6th grade at the time. And so I was at that manipulative stage, as my mom would call it. And so I would try to fake being sick. I don't know why I would fake being sick in the middle of summer, of all times, but that's what she believed. That bronchitis and mono is what set off the rest of what happened. I didn't get treated for my bronchitis and mono until the end of 6th grade. And we learned I was allergic to penicillin on the last day. I was getting bullied at the school, and I had broken out from head to toe in a rash. And the girls made fun of me and called me, what was it? It was boiled skin, or something like that, because I was bright red. But I don't take penicillin, I can't. But my mom forced me to go to school anyway while I was on penicillin on that last day, and it was awful. It's not really the point of this story, though. But, I had started having health issues in 7th grade. I was missing a bunch of school. I was constantly passing out. I was throwing up. I was having just these episodes that we couldn't explain. Of like, they're like my absentee seizures, but they're different. They're just happening. We don't understand. And my mom and my dad didn't quite believe me. And neither did doctors. Doctors just thought I was trying to get out of soccer, and that I was just lying to get out of soccer. And teachers didn't believe me either, and we had no diagnosis. So anyways, when I was around 11, going into 7th grade, about to turn 12, I started having more episodes. I was passing out more often. It was no longer just triggered by hot or cold. It was just happening. And sometimes they appeared like my absentee seizures, and sometimes it would just hit. There was no warning. I would just be out cold on the ground. And that's when my mom started to believe me more. She didn't fully believe me, but she started to believe me more, because there's no way a 12-year-old knows how to faint. Or at least fake faint. And I started to have breathing issues and getting really, really dizzy. Like, I would run for 5 minutes and then I'd be so dizzy I cannot see or walk straight. And I just kept pushing because that's what my mom wanted me to do. In 8th grade, it was right before my 13th birthday that I had my first TIA. I remember getting home, like walking home from the school bus, and just having this killer headache. I don't remember the rest of the day, and I couldn't in that moment either. It just, this splitting headache. I got home and my mom told me, oh, we get migraines, it's genetic, you're fine, go sit on the couch. And I sit on the couch, and it's just getting worse. She just watch TV, I'll bring you some meds. And I'm like, Mom, something's really wrong. And she's like, you're fine, I'm looking for the meds now, chill. And my arm started locking to the point where my palm was facing out away from me and my elbow was fully extended, but I could see my fingerprints facing my face. And I just start screaming because I'm scared. I'm 12. What is going on? My mom rushes in, going, oh my God, chill. And then she stops mid-sentence and looks at me. And he goes, oh my God. She starts doing a cognitive test. And I'm not able to respond. So she takes me to the nearest place that she can, which is a urgent care. And they have us sit there for 30 minutes and then goes, I don't know. And then she takes me to the ER because they just say they can't do anything, which is an hour away from where we were at the time, in our house as well. And next thing I know, I wake up the next day freaking out because I didn't get my homework done. And that happened 2 more times. I do not remember the other 2 times. I do know that they were in January and February, I believe. Later that year, after I'd turned 13. So in a 6-month period, I had 3 TIAs. And after those TIAs, I was stuck in a wheelchair for 6 months. Don't know why, don't know how. My legs just would not work. Like, they would work, like I could stand, but the only mobility aid that would help and not injure me more was a wheelchair. What was going on is my leg would jerk and move weird. and it was just a whole issue. And finally, we got to a doctor who looked at us and went, "You're passing out when you change positions, you're passing out when you get too hot or cold, you're passing out when you're playing soccer, you're getting extremely dizzy, you're having heart palpitations. I'm gonna do something real quick." And he had us do orthostatics, which is where you just change your position and take your heart rate. And he went, "It's not hard to put one and one together and get POTS." And that's when I got diagnosed with postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. I have a more severe case, and I did get re-diagnosed when I was 16, but that story will come in a later video. But we finally had our answer to that. When we asked about the walking thing, he went, I don't know. But you're not faking." And at the time, I had multiple teachers claim I was faking to get out of schoolwork. I had teachers that would look me in the eyes and call me just the most abhorrent things that you shouldn't call a student. Like, I don't think when you're looking at a student who came to you asking for work, you should say that they're just lazy and they don't deserve it, so they're just gonna fail. And that was going on, and my mom kinda helped fight for a 504, but she only got the bare minimum for me because she believed that I should be able to power through a lot of it. And so I did. I got through that, and when I was still not fully able to walk 100% correctly, they put me into a week-long facility where I was being tested for epilepsy, just to make sure that what was causing my walking issues wasn't related to some sort of brain damage with epilepsy. And what they found out is I have no signs of epileptic damage at all. Meaning, none of the absentee seizures I had were epileptic in nature. I still don't know what that means. But I do still have seizures that are non-epileptic occasionally, very rarely. I had one recently, actually, of recording this. I'm doing fine now, by the way. But the piece with the girl in the cityscape was drawn during that time, and I remember that was the first time I thought of something other than soccer. I was gonna do art and tell stories. And I still want to do that. And in fact, I found an even better thing. It's called game design. I don't do a whole lot of it right now because I don't have a lot of time with my crappy job, but hopefully that'll change soon. But yeah, I had a lot of experiences that were negative with teachers just not believing me and doctors not believing me. And when I was 13, I had found, my mom had found a doctor who had POTS who said she would do anything to figure out my walking issue. I was ecstatic. Someone who understood what I was going through and someone that could fix me. Someone that could make my walking issues go away, hopefully. During it, right, we did so many tests, walking tests, response tests, hundreds of tests. Like, it took 6 to 8 hours to take all these tests. And she went away and left us in a room for like an hour while she went and looked over these results. And I sat there like super excited to get answers and hopefully just something I can do to fix it so I could play soccer again. And I remember her coming back in with this huge bright smile, and so I had all this hope that I had an answer. She had come up to me in my wheelchair. I was sitting in my wheelchair at the time, and leaned down in front of me and said these words exactly. "What I want you to do is tonight, right before you go to bed, is look at yourself in the mirror and repeat this 3 times. When I wake up tomorrow, I will be able to walk. Practice it with me. When I wake up tomorrow, I will be able to walk. When I wake up tomorrow, I will be able to walk. When I wake up tomorrow, I will be able to walk. And what will happen tomorrow morning is you will be able to walk. That's all you need." At this time, I hadn't known that my doctors had been sending me back and forth between real doctors and mental health consulting doctors. So, psychologists. I had no idea because they would set it up to be in an actual doctor's office where I couldn't tell the difference between the two. And they would all ask me the same questions. And for those 2 years between 7th and 8th grade, they had been passing me back and forth. The doctors had been saying, "No, this is psychological," and the psych docs would throw me back to the doctors going, "No, this is physical," back and forth. This back and forth screwed me over, because now when I go to look for a doctor, they assume I'm doctor shopping. It's been over 10 years. So, great. But that kind of thing really sucked. Of not only did I have doctors who just straight up didn't believe me, and my mom told me after that doctor had given the instructions to just look at myself in the mirror, that the doctors had been throwing me back and forth between psychologists and stuff. And just to know that not only did my family not really believe me about 65% of the time about what I was feeling and what I was going through, I also had doctors who didn't believe me, and teachers who didn't believe me, and friends who didn't believe me. And it was just awful because not only that, I was going through puberty. I was having crushes that didn't like me back because they thought I was faking. I had friends who stopped being friends with me because they thought I was a lying fraud, just trying to get out of everything. And it was nightmarish to go through while going through puberty. So I had turned to projects and learning, and art really helped me through it. And I had basically taught myself through school by that point. I was doing it all on my own by 8th grade, and it was nightmarish. And then I moved. And we're gonna leave it off on that note. I want to save my high school to college to now for a separate video, so I'm sorry we're leaving on a darker note. But if you want to hear the second part, please subscribe, please let me know down in the comments, and please give this video a like so that I know that it's something you guys want to see and hear about. But I want to make sure that you know that you are not alone, that you are strong, and that you will make it through. I just want to make sure everyone knows that. Have a good night. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!